right, we're ready. I was very curious about what that gift was going to be. That was great. You had me. All right, you guys. Well, all of us as legal adults, we can legally share this opportunity with people, and you do have to be 18 to be consider this opportunity. So, what we're going to do tonight, Faith and I are going to role play a sharing appointment. And I want to let you know about these resources. Everything I'm resourcing tonight is in our Soaring Eagles Facebook group. And we're looking at a way that we can better share documents that's coming down the pike. But for right now, these are all accessible to you. So they're in the Soaring Eagles Facebook group. Faith, I can get them to you so you can put them in the Rise and Shine group. You might already have done that. But it's the Mary Kay team building appointment. And there are lots of these, like you could Google and see other people's versions of this. This is just my version. There's also something that you can print off in there that is called the 4-box marketing plan. And I will describe that as we go through. And then the other resource is called a layering sheet. So this month, you guys, every person that you sell a product to, you want their name to go on a layering sheet, and you want to mark what kind of touch they've had with Mary Kay. So do they use the product? Have they ever hosted? Do they have a team building packet, or have they watched a video? Have they listened to a marketing plan? Have they attended a guest event? We know that most people take about 7 touches before they become a consultant. And the touches can happen fast. They don't have to be like spread out over months and months. But this is another resource, because when you have a month like this where you get a starter kit reduction, you want to be able to pull out your layering sheet and go, oh yeah, I did talk to Julie about 6 months ago, and yep, and she has hosted. Yep, it might be time to circle back around, and to have that date on there, like, yep, I talked to her last fall and she said, yeah, when things settle down, which they're never going to settle down, but you could check in to see if things have settled down, and they might have in her mind. So these are the resources that you have access to. So what Faith and I are going to do is we're going to role play a sharing appointment, and I'm going to be using exactly the script. So one of your goals this month is that you could go, I'm going to print this off and I'm going to sit down and do exactly this paper with people. When I started team building, this is exactly what I did. I have very clear memories of sitting at Starbucks and sitting at all these places with my paper and my friends across from me and me doing this. This is how I learned to do it. And I was not fabulous when I first started. I probably talked way too much. I know I did. I know I talked way too much. I was so excited. I wanted to tell them everything. And so I've learned a lot, but you guys, I had to have those first, where I talked to people and their eyes glazed over and they were like, good for you, Beth. Like, and then the ones that said yes, that was just the Lord. Like, so, they're going to, if God wants them in here, they'll come in. Okay. So I'm going to start talking to Faith. And Faith is going to, we talked about this today. She's going to channel herself when she first heard about the opportunity. And so you're going to get a little picture into Faith 5 years ago. Okay. So I always like to start off with some questions to help me get to know the person that I'm talking to. Even if I have a close relationship with them, I like to do this. So first thing, Faith, thanks for giving me some time today. I really appreciate it. I've got I brought with me either a lip gloss or a mascara. I couldn't remember which one you wanted. So I have them both. So whichever one you want, you get to pick at the end. So be thinking about that. I
already know. I want the mascara.
Mascara. Okay, yeah. Good. All right. Here you go. You just say it right now. Okay. So what we're going to do, I'm going to ask you a few questions about you so I can kind of get to know you.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you a little bit about me, just a little smidge about me. And then I'm going to give you an opportunity to ask me questions about the business, about Mary Kay, the company, the business, any question. So you talk about you, I talk about me, you ask me questions. And at the end, I'm going to have you give me your opinion of what we talked about. Does that sound okay?
It sounds great. And my kids might be running around kind of crazy. So I'm sorry if that's not.
You know what?
That's distracting.
You know what? It's not distracting. And it is exactly where I was when I started my business. My kids were 6, 4, and 2. So I can completely warm my heart to see your children if they pop in at any time.
Yeah, wonderful. Mine are 1, 3, 6, and 8. think that's what they were. I don't remember.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
So 2 of them are at school and 2 of them are running crazy.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, Faith, the first question I have for you, I want you to draw a picture of yourself for me. Describe yourself to me. Anything you want to share, like picture. Yeah. Just like tell me.
Okay. My husband's
And
a
I'm going to be
pastor.
taking notes too. I'm sorry. I'm going to be
Okay.
taking notes if you're like, why is she looking down? I'm taking notes. Okay. Go ahead.
It's not that you don't care what I'm saying.
Right. No.
Okay. Well, I'm married to a pastor. He is the associate pastor at Zion in Belleville, and we're kind of still new to the area. I was commuting across St. Louis to work, and I couldn't handle it anymore. I was paying someone else to do with my kids what I wanted to be doing with them. I was also paying her to do some things I didn't want to be doing with them that I'm now stuck doing with them, but it's worth it. And yeah, so I resigned about 2 months ago. So now I have no money and I'm not quite sure how I would start a business. So, but Karen asked if I would do a recruiting appointment, and she's convinced that this is for me.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
I'm not so sure.
You've got
I'm not into sales. I worked in nonprofits my whole life. That's where I'm comfortable. That's what I love. I want to tell people about Jesus, not sell lipsticks. And that it's just, I can't get over that in my brain. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with it. I mean, you do a wonderful job.
Right. Yeah. No, that's good. That's good. Okay. Tell me, what are the names of your kiddos?
Anna is the oldest. Lily is the next. Luke's our only boy, and Abby is my baby.
Oh man.
No, sweetie, you can't put that in your mouth. Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you for painting that picture. How long have you been in Belleville?
It's been a year and a half.
Okay. Okay.
So I'm
Fairly new.
finishing grad school. Yeah, I'm finishing grad school as well. It's been really slow with kids. All I have to do is my thesis, and then I'll have a master's degree in theology. It's just really hard to find that time to do it.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that as a stay-at-home mom, I can work on it while kids are napping and yeah. And my mom said she'll fly out and like watch the kids so I can get some good chunks of time to focus on writing and finishing it, because I've been writing it for about 5 years now. And
Okay.
I'm just glad they haven't cut me off yet. And that's another thing is I don't know if I'll have the time. Like I have a deadline on that. I have to finish it. Or they're just not going to let me take the thesis writing class again. So I really don't have a lot of time between the kids and my master's degree and trying to help my husband at church. And I'm still trying to get to know people there. So I really am interested in volunteering a lot. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Awesome.
And I don't know a lot of people. I've been working a lot, and I know them by like their faces, but not their names. And I wouldn't want to insult them by doing like, hey, you want to try something? Want to buy some makeup?
Okay. Okay. I have a good picture. Thank you for that. Faith, the second question I have for you, what brings you joy?
My kids. Yep. My kids, my friends, worship music, the beach, but I don't like to walk. I just like to look at it. I don't want to walk on it. We came from California and people are all like, oh, you must have been at the beach all the time. No, like twice a year. Just too high maintenance for the kids. Yeah, my kids, my family, my sisters.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Coffee. Oh, awesome. Okay. Faith, tell me about a time in your life you felt proud of yourself. Could have been when you were a little girl, could have been last week, just a time when you're like, I am really proud of myself.
I would probably have to say just the time I worked at UCLA. We did campus missionary work there, and that was really cool. I was a staff advisor for the Veritas Forum. Veritas means truth in Latin. And our group put together orchestrated and debates with the Associated Secular students who went by their acronym. So it was a healthy debates. Yeah, one of our debates, CNN actually came to televise it. And
Wow.
I was like, holy moly, that's big. And it wasn't CNN, like it was like channel 2-4, not like the 2-1, but it was still CNN. So that was really cool. And just the conversations I was able to have with people there about Jesus. And I mean, it was the hardest. I banged my head against the wall a lot, but probably the work we did there, it was a lot.
It sounds like you really made a difference.
I loved it.
Students. Yeah.
Yeah. I think they probably impacted me more than I impacted them, but yeah. They're amazing.
Yeah. That's awesome. All right, Faith, I want you for a minute. I want you to think about a year from now, and we're just going to kind of dream. If you had all the money and all the time in the world, how would you be living? What would life look like?
It's hard to think about having all the money in the world when you have none. But I would probably, we'd still be doing ministry. We just if we had all the money in the world, we wouldn't need to be charging for it. And see, I love to travel. I'd probably want to take my family to some places I've been and explore some new places with them.
Okay. Oh, where would you go? Where is the first place you would go?
I want to go to Africa. I've never been there. I've never been yeah. So I've been to Asia and Europe and Central America. I'd also want to go to South America. Okay. I need to pick up some more continents.
Okay. Bring the family to Africa. Awesome. Okay. Very fun. Okay. Well, thank you for giving me that picture. That's really helpful. And that helps me as we have more of our conversation. Well, just really quick. So, me, who you're talking to, I've been building my business for 15 years. And I began when my kiddos were little, like very similar scenario. I had been working in ministry. I was a director of Christian education and in charge of youth and women's.
That's what I did.
I know.
I'm a DC too.
Look at that. Crazy. And I left for many of the reasons that you left. I really wanted to, I was watching my kids and dropping them off at daycare and going, I just don't want to do this anymore. So my husband and I said, we're going to figure it out. Yeah. And so we figured it out, but it looked a lot better on paper than it did in reality. Like all those unexpected expenses that were popping up that weren't in my perfect world that I wrote down on paper when I was leaving my job. And so we were making it work, but I was kind of resentful because I couldn't ever get a coffee without feeling like I had, robbed my children's, dinner. I started to get vegetables because I needed a latte.
You don't get Christmas because mom had Starbucks.
And I got my So Mary Kay I kind of came in kicking and screaming. My friend asked me a million times and I finally was like, you know what, I'll do it for the discount. And I loved that there were no quotas, anything I had to do because I didn't want responsibility. I just wanted a little cash. And so that's why I started 15 years ago with no intention of really doing anything with it. And so now here I am. I thought I'd do it for 5 years and here I am 15 years later because of the flexibility and because of the income that we were able to bring in. I was able to replace my income I was making while being home with my kids and working consistently around my husband's schedule. My husband is a pastor and so similar.
That's spooky.
So I get that nights, weekends, no regular schedule, So Mary Kay allowed us to really create the life that we wanted. I mean, I never dreamed I would be able to get a extra coffee, let alone all the other things we've been able to do. So that I could talk for 3 hours about my story, but that kind of gives you a little glimpse into me. Yeah. So Faith, what I want to do, I want to have you think about some questions about the business opportunity. And there's really about 4 areas that people have questions on. So this might kind of trip some of those ideas in your head. People are money, like how much can you make? Anything about money, people typically have questions. Some people are curious about the cars you're like, can you rent a free car? Like, do people actually drive pink cars? Like,
I'm not interested in the car.
okay, not in the car. Advancement. Is there a way, like, how do you grow a business? Can you move up into leadership? What does that look like? And then support, like, what am I gonna, what kind of support do I get?
Yeah.
So, and then you can ask anything outside of that too. So Faith, let me hear a few of your questions that you might have about the business part of
I
it.
brought about 7 questions with me, so
Okay.
I have fuel. But you had said that there's a discount. I think Karen mentioned that it's a 50% discount.
Mhm.
That would be helpful. I don't know if I could still afford it anyway.
Yeah.
Like I don't even think I can afford paying half price for stuff. Like we legit live paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
And are still drawing out of savings a little bit each month so that I can stay home.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I bought a mascara because I wanted to support Karen.
Yeah.
So what I liked is that I actually didn't like the mascara. And she was like, well, just give it back to me next time I see you and I'll give you another one. I was like, really? I don't have to pay for it? That was cool. So then the one we switched it out for, I love it, which is great. But I just don't know if I can afford to, like.
Yeah. So your question about the 50%, what's your question about that?
Is it really 50%? That seems like a lot.
Yes. The profit that we make. Yes.
It's 50%.
It is 50%. So yeah, so I have some receipts here. I was filling some orders today and I had a customer reorder and she uses the whole TimeWise set, like the skin set, which is 120. And then she needed an oil-free eye makeup remover, which was 18. So 138. So I made $69 today just from her reordering. And I have it all packed up and she's going to pick it up off of my porch tomorrow. And that just came because she's a customer that ran out of product. So you make it, that's the thing we love about it, it's consumable. So she ran out of her product and was like, Beth, I'm just going to get the whole set because it's a better deal. And I need that oil-free eye makeup remover. So she was at a party like a couple of years ago. And so she continues to purchase her product from me. So the time investment was on at the party, but now she's a customer. So whenever she runs out of product.
How long does it take you to like get a customer?
Yeah. Well, what's fun about getting a customer in Mary Kay is that the whole approach, it's like, what I love about it is that it's an item. Mary Kay sells items that everyone's going to use in some way, shape, or form, whether it's a bar of Dove soap or it's the highest end luxury line. Like people are going to wash their skin. So the way that we introduce people to our product is by asking for their opinions. Would love to get your opinion of our skincare. Oh, I love blah, blah, blah. Great. I would just love for you to try it. And so it is then asking, so tell me a little bit about your skin, dry, normal, oily, because our job in Mary Kay taught us, we want to help meet people's needs. We don't want to try to sell product to people. We want to meet needs. So finding out people's needs, connecting them to a product, when they find a connection to something that works for them, they're a customer for life because of that, like, need being met.
That kind of sounds like evangelism. You find out about the person. Right? And then you explain how Jesus meets whatever need they have, or at least you know what kind of terminology they'll understand. And
yeah.
How do you have them try a product?
Well, so I have to pretend like we haven't had the pandemic, Faith. So 5 years ago, we'll just pretend we've had the pandemic. Lots of ways. There we go. You can do that. You can meet with people one-on-one and you can squirt and they can put it on their face and they can wipe it off and they can tell you. Mary Kay also provides little packets of all of our products, most of our products in little packets that you can drop off to people. You can pop them in the mail to people. You can send a little sheet that says these are the steps to try it tonight in your bathroom, try it. and let me know what you think. So there's a variety of ways people can try. So I just actually had a customer. She was one of my nurses at a doctor's appointment, and she's like crazy busy, works 2 jobs, no time to have an appointment. I'm like, here you go, take these home and wash your face. And it was our repair line, and she loved it. She's like, oh, this is what I need. So she bought that, the brush. I mean, it was like close to $300 in product. And she's like, but she had no time for anything. So I'm like, here, take it home. So I did all of my Mary Kay appointments while I was at my doctor's appointment. Isn't that
So
crazy?
if you're giving them these, you have to buy those samples though,
You
right?
do. Yep, you do.
So I
Yep.
get that it pays off, but you have to have the money up front to buy them.
You can, yep. It's so when you purchase anything that aids your business, it's a tax write-off. And so part of starting a business like this is anything you spend on your business at the end of the year, you get to tell Uncle Sam that it comes off of what you owe them for your taxes. So
Okay.
yes, you do purchase them in advance. But what I do with people is we start, we start with your first 30 faces, and you can get a whole sample pack for that amount of people. And you go, let's sell a miracle set. When you sell a miracle set, that is $60 in profit. That's a lot of money. That buys a lot of samples. That helps you sell just one more miracle set, so we give you the skills that you need to know. How do I do this? How do I like pay for, how do I build? Like that's part of the
How often do people buy a miracle set? Like, is it common that people just like, oh, take the whole set? It's not a world I'm familiar with.
right.
I mean,
Yeah.
I've been around broke college kids my whole life. So
Right.
and now I feel like one. So it's like,
Yes. So when you're working in your target market, so target market in Mary Kay is between the ages of 25 and 55. They have some kind of college. So yeah, if you're talking to college students, they're not buying miracle sets. Like if you've got a bunch of 18-year-olds, they're purchasing, but their purchases are smaller and more frequent. So like, okay, tonight I'm going to get the cleanser, and then next paycheck, I'm going to get the mascara and lip gloss. So, but understanding that is part of how we train you. So you understand, all right, if I want these results, these are the people that I'm talking to about this product.
I'm trying to think of the people I know in that area. Like most of them are stay-at-home moms. Like, I don't
Mhm.
think they'd have the money to buy it either.
Yeah. Well,
And like,
you know what? It is, it's an interesting thing. I have been so surprised as I have shared this with people over the years. I've learned to not make judgments on the way people use their resources. I believe everybody deserves Mary Kay. When I started, lots like my stay-at-home mom friends were my first people that I facialed. And so some of them bought it, and I was shocked. Like, okay, I didn't think that they would buy the whole set. Others did little pieces. Many of them would host parties so they could earn hostess credit, which was my favorite because that's how I bought it. When I was a stay-at-home mom, I didn't have extra money, so I hosted parties all the time to earn my product with hostess credit. So,
how does a hostess credit work?
so when somebody hosts a party, you can give them credit that they can use towards product. And Mary Kay lets us decide how we want to do that. They don't have like a special of the month. Like, have you ever been to a party where it's like, okay, this month the hostess credit is you get this giant basket of purple blah blah blah, and you're like, well, I don't want that giant basket of purple blah blah blah. I'll host next month when there's maybe different hostess credit. And Mary Kay, you get to make up your own hostess credit, and that then helps introduce people to the product that maybe can't pay for it all at once, but they become customers. And then as you service them, they will purchase, okay, I've got my cleanser, my moisturizer. So it's really kind of a fun gift that we get to offer people. And I host it all the time. When I was a customer, I was like, yeah, I will have 3 people over so I can get the stuff I need at a discount. I was like a VIP hostess. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, good questions.
I had another question. You said that there are no quotas. So so I how so I come in and I squirt things and they wash their face. I don't really know, like, I don't have the best skin myself. And I wouldn't know where to start if someone asked about makeup. Like I do the same thing
Yes.
every day. I could show someone how to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone would want to do that.
Faith, do you feel like you're a pretty good student? Like if somebody teaches you something, do you feel like you're pretty good? Like, are you
I love learning. I love it.
okay? Then one of the
Is there Mary Kay school? I would love Mary Kay school. I'll get a master's degree.
I love Mary Kay school. There's several ways you can learn. And Mary Kay knows that most of us don't come in experts in every part of this business. And so you have access to training on all things skincare for every skin type out there. You name it, you get training on which products work with them. We have training on all things color, like eye shape, face structure. Like there's actual pictures, like models that you can be like, oh, okay, you look like that. This is where you're going to put it. It's like magical. We have training on money management. Like some people come in really skilled with like makeup-y things, but like I've never balanced my checkbook. So training on that.
I haven't done either of those.
Right. So
like I can't put makeup on. Like I don't feel comfortable putting makeup on people. I don't.
No. Well, and good, because we're not really allowed to touch people's faces because we're not licensed cosmetologists. So we teach them how to apply because it's like, we don't want to like, what is it? Teach someone to give somebody a fish. They have fish for a day. Teach somebody to fish. They have food for the rest of their life. So we want them to have good eyeliner for the rest of their life.
So I take the class on how to do eyeliner or whatever. And then I teach them how to do it and I don't have to touch them.
Exactly.
I mean, I'll touch them, I'll hug them, but I don't have to do it
right
on them.
Yeah. 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 All right. Well, we could have, so you guys for real, I would keep talking to Faith. I would keep talking until she had all of her questions answered.
And for real, she did. We had 3 phone calls. I had lists of conversations about inventory and how I couldn't afford any of it, and samples and how I couldn't afford any of it, and all this stuff and I couldn't afford any of it. And all of that was because we were going in debt $200 a month for me to stay home.
Mm-hmm.
That's how much every month the life that we had selected was going down and down and down. So I couldn't wrap my mind around spending money to start a business. That was a big old question mark because we didn't have a lot. We didn't have any to spare. And at some point I talked all of those details with my husband because he's money. I'm not. I spend it. He earns it. I spend it. That's how it was going. And then I would call him. I'm like, can I spend this money? And he'd be like, not till Tuesday. So it was hard for me to wrap my mind around what Beth was telling me at the time. But every single thing she told me, even though it wasn't necessarily comfortable, it got me a little bit closer. So I just encourage you, be patient with people. But at some point, like I remember Beth going, okay, Faith, we've had 3 conversations. We could probably have 7 more. And I bet you'd still come up with questions because that's the way your brain works. But you probably have enough information now to be able to kind of make a decision. Do I want to give it a go or do I want to pass and just stay a customer? So like, and I said, I need more time to think and I need to talk to Chris about it one more time. And Beth said, I'm going to give you another day. Could I call you tomorrow? What, 2:00? Okay. Do you think you'll have an answer by then? And told me, what did you tell me about the things I think about? How will I know if it's probably something I should give a try? Do you remember what you said to me?
Well, what I say to a lot of people is if you go to bed tonight and you keep thinking about it and your brain is like thinking and thinking and you're like, well, I could do that and I could this customer and your wheels are turning, then you should just try it because your brain is already planning it. And until you make the decision, you're going to stay in this like wheel process. If you never think about this again, like we hang up the phone and you're like, did I even talk to Beth today? Did I talk about Mary Kay? Maybe not for you, not in your brain, but if your wheels are turning and you can't stop thinking about it, then it's worth getting the starter kit.
And the genius thing for that, for someone like me who was asking 50 million questions and who came with a list of questions every single conversation, that is a telltale sign that the girl just needs to sign up already. Yeah. She clearly just needs to muck around in it and get going already. So yeah. Thank you for being so persistent with me. And you always called when you said, I was like, maybe she won't call me back. Maybe she won't call. Nope. She always called me back.
Well, okay, you guys, so once we get done with the questions, next week, the whole training is on handling objections. So we're going to talk about what do you say when they say these things. So, but for tonight, for the last couple of minutes, before we head into recognition, I will just ask you, Faith, so what did you hear today that impressed you? What did you hear that you're like, ooh, that sounds good?
I think the flexibility to be with your kids and
Mm,
do the job
yeah.
with around your husband's schedule and all that jazz. The discount, that does sound good. The hostess credit, I really like that, makes more sense for people like me who can't afford to do the stuff. Like I'd host a party. No one ever asked me to host a party, but I'd host a party. So very least I'll host a party and then I maybe can get some hostess credit.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. And some people, you guys, if they've never hosted a party, if they just can't like get to yes, but they're like, well, I'll host a party, then have them host a party, because then they get to see how it really works. If they've never hosted before, when I said yes, I had hosted probably 5 parties. And I think I said this a couple weeks ago. I didn't have a grand opening because I'd seen so many parties. I'm like, I'm just going to do what you always do at my house. So for some people, that next step might be book a party with them. Okay. All right. So Faith, if you were to start a Mary Kay business, what would you enjoy the most?
Girl time.
Okay.
And I don't know, being able to do stuff with my kids. If I earned any money out of it, I would spend it doing fun things with my kids.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, all right, the last question I was going to ask you, what need would it meet for you and your family?
I stop the bleeding in our budget.
Yeah.
Like, because I mean, we have a fair amount of savings, but we won't if if we keep this up.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But like, I would need to make $200 a month. How long would that take? How hard is that?
Yep. So a typical party in Mary Kay where you have 4 to 6 women around the table is between $200 and $300 in sales on average. And so that's 100 to 150 in profit for a party. And then, so if you do 2 of those a month, that gets you that minimum that you need. And once you establish a customer base, then you've got reorders coming in. And so $200 is a very doable amount in like bring that in. I mean, it could be
2 parties.
Yeah. Yep. So Faith, I'm going to ask you to give me a letter, an A, B, or C. C is, you know what? I'm really happy being a customer and I'll keep paying full price. It's great. I mean, maybe you host a party, but that's a C, like just really want to stay a customer. B is, I'm curious, but I have some more questions. B is, but I have some more questions. Okay. And then A is absolutely like at the starter
I'm
kit.
a B.
Yeah, you're a B.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm a B.
Okay.
I didn't mean to cut you off, but I'm a B.
No, you're a B. Okay.
I would have to talk to my husband. I mean, I think he's going to be hard to convince that this is a good thing. Maybe not. I don't know. Yeah, I'm a B. My brain, it feels like it's going to explode. I'm going to have to think about this and like.
I'm having flashbacks.
I'm a really good actress.
All right. So at this point, and this is where we'll take up next week. So at this point, when she says, I need to go talk to my husband, I'm going to ask her, okay, so Faith, tell me what things you want to talk to your husband about. So what are the things? And so you don't have to tell me now, Faith.
Yeah.
We're going to be questions or potential objections. Sometimes when we go talk to our husband, we're actually they're our own objections and we're just going to say that it's our husband. Not that you did that, but it's just a way to be like, I just need more time to process. So what I will ask, what questions do you have? And then I will set a specific time, like within 24 hours to get back to answer those questions. I also,
don't leave someone like me hanging for longer than 24 hours. I will convince myself of a million different possibilities all just because I'm nervous,
Yep.
new and different.
Yep. So next week, be ready to find out the answers to the objections that Faith will bring back, and really the most common objections.
And if you
once-
have some that you'd like to hear, Voxer me.
Yes, 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 yes. If they're like, okay, and these can be objections for recruiting or for booking. Actually, we could handle all those next week. Okay. Okay. Awesome. So you guys print these off. And this is just a fun thing. Even if you just getting into the practice of it, print it off and start asking people that you work with, that in your family, ask them the four first questions. It's so enlightening. This is to warn you, sometimes when I do this with people, we're both crying. Like they'll share like something that they're proud of. And all of a sudden you'll be like, oh my gosh. I can think of multiple times when I've been crying, because you know what people don't, we know what we don't do. We don't sit and ask people questions and then listen to them. Interviewing people can be a gift to them because you are giving them your attention. And when you go in with an honest, like, I just want to get to know you. I want to answer your questions because I really like you. And whatever you decide is fine. You've given them a gift. Like, it, honest to goodness, is a gift. It's really a cool thing. So print off 5 of these so you can have 5 of them filled out for this month, and you can earn some money and bring a lot of joy into people's lives. All right. So we're going to do objections next week. I'm going to stop the recording, and